it's fine. Quite some time ago. We're talking about this book for Fyodor Dostoyevsky, talking about Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky. How justice is actually justice is actually, yeah, that's there. Hello again. So I completed this book, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky, quite some time ago. So I decided to, give you a short book review. And forgive me if I sound different because I've got a sore throat. So obviously I sound different. So this book, Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoyevsky, is a psychological masterpiece. It is haunting and thought-provoking, and I think it delves more into gothic genre, but I believe that most of the books by Fyodor Dostoyevsky delves into gothic genre anyway. So this book is about ex-penniless student Raskolnikov, if I am saying it right, the protagonist of this story, who ends up killing an old pawnbroker. So the murder motive behind the murder remains ambiguous throughout the book, even though at the end he has confessed some ideological justification, but still then the motive is still ambiguous. And the beautiful thing about this book is that most probably this story and the motive is open to interpretation. So the more you read this book, or the more people read this book, they get their own explanation or own interpretation. Yes, so what happens after murdering the old pawnbroker, who is not a really nice lady? The man thinks that he'll have some sort of emotional liberation, but that doesn't happen. He just ends up, being tormented in his head, and he rolls into this delirium. So there's this whole emotional struggle in his own level, and it also begets the question whether redemption truly comes from actually facing the judgment or just accepting the justice, right? So there's this spiral of avoidance, and it also questions that, probably also explains that avoiding the consequences of your actions causes more suffering than actually facing it. So back to the question, if we talk about the motive behind the murder of the old pawnbroker, there are many interpretations, but then again there are some people, or one school of the thought talks about the ideological justification, where the protagonist says that great people like Napoleon or any other great people, if they do some bad thing or something wrong which is not legally or morally correct, if that thing is done for a greater good, then it is all justified. It's just balances all out. But then again, we know that he was a penniless student, so there was this financial desperation as well. But then again, the money that he actually took after murdering the pawnbroker, he did not use it. Instead, he just kept it hidden. So it nullifies that theory. But also there is the psychological turmoil that he's going through, because he's frustrated right now. He doesn't have a job, he doesn't have earning. He is a really intellectual person who studied his ass off. I'm sorry if that's not how you talk about it, but yes, he did study a lot, and then now he is a penniless student who's struggling to make his ends meet, and he doesn't know how to marry off his sister or support his mother. So there's this existential crisis he's going through, and there's this mental anguish. He feels alienated from society. So in the face of that powerlessness that he is going through, he just wanted to see the extent that he could go through, what he can do. And then probably at that particular moment, he just felt like that is something that would make him, in control. But that didn't happen. So yes, so if you read the story, I wouldn't like to break the entire plot, but those are the things that happened here. So the book is really interesting, and it is thought-provoking, just like I said in the very beginning. So if you read it, you might get your own interpretation the way I did. So mine was basically about the suffering and the facing the consequences, and how justice is actually by accepting justice is the only way that you can get redemption. But then again, I am someone from a Christian background, right? So I believe that there is this good and the bad, the evil and the holy. So when it comes to all that interpretation, it's really hard to put the world in black and white. But then again, as you see the world in your own point of view, there are so many morally gray areas that you cannot exactly segregate. So yes, if you read this book, most probably you'll get your own interpretation, your own explanation. And if someone has already read this book, I would really love to get your perspective and your point of view. Thank you again.